When it was announced that the Turning Stone Resort Championship wouldn't be returning to the PGA Tour schedule this year, golf fans all over Central New York were wondering what would fill the void. Well, the Nota Begay III Foundation Challenge stepped up and delivered with 2 superstar NFL quarterbacks, plus the return of Tiger Woods. This year, the Raiders renew their old-school rivalry with Syracuse September 25th at the Carrier Dome. It's the first time that these two schools have played each other since 1987, and the first time that Colgate's played a team from the FBS since 2003. It's been 29 years since New York Mills last won a state championship in boys basketball. Last year they came close, but fell in the Final Four. This time, however, with most of the town here in Glens Falls to support them, the Marauders got the job done. When you follow Hamilton women's lacrosse, you can really take for granted how much success they've had here at Steuben Field. The Continentals had 38 straight wins heading into a tough matchup against Cortland, who, like Hamilton, is ranked in the top 10. The Yankees' loss to Boston Saturday was overshadowed by the controversy surrounding Jorge Posada's asking out of the lineup, but he apologized to Joe Girardi before yesterday's game where the Yankees tried to avoid getting swept by the Red Sox. It didn't take 6 overtimes, but Syracuse and UConn still needed an extra 5 minutes to determine a winner in their latest Big East tournament matchup. In the end, it was poor free throw shooting down the stretch by the Orange and another great performance by the new Big East tournament leader in points, Kemba Walker, that made the difference.
Now, News Channel 2 Sports with Mike Levin.
Good evening, everyone. It's Healthy Kids Day at Wise all over the country, and today the branches in Oneida and Rome celebrated with the help of former NBA star Muggsy Bogues. I caught up with him in Rome where we talked about his visit and why it's so important.
Come on, right there, bring it up.
At 5'3", Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player in NBA history. But he lasted in the league for 14 seasons, so he's a great example for anyone with big aspirations.
You got to believe in yourself. You got to have that confidence because, as a small guard, no one's going to give you that shot. No one's going to really believe in you going forward. So you got to have that understanding.
Teaching kids to live a healthy lifestyle is important to Bogues, which is why he came to the Mohawk Valley for the Wise Healthy Kids Day.
We got one of the most obese youth in today's society. Is overwhelming, and it comes from the Xbox and the Nintendos. And I just want to give them opportunities to stay active, to keep believing in your dreams. I know a lot of these kids are not into the basketball, but whatever their dream may be, they can overcome anything, and I'm a living testimony of that.
We just kind of were looking around and saw Muggsy Bogues' name somewhere and said, he'd be great for Healthy Kids Day. And he's also somebody we think the kids would identify with because of those barriers he's overcome.
Growing up in inner-city Baltimore, Bogues never listened to his naysayers and kept improving his skills over time. And that's what he's doing with these kids.
I talk about the ball handling, all the elements that goes on with basketball, dribbling, shooting, passing, so forth. But, just the basics, the fundamentals, because that's something that a lot of the kids are missing these days.
Rain. It's a baseball player or fan's arch nemesis, and it can ruin a great day at the ballpark.
It's just a matter of kind of always presuming that you're going to play. I think when players get in trouble, when they see rain, they see storms, they let their guard down, and all of a sudden it's time to go, and your performance lacks. So it was a matter of keeping your mental edge regardless of conditions.
If you're having a good day, have a couple hits, you want to get back out in the field and make sure you get credit for those, that the game becomes official. But if you're 0 for 2, 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts, and you might hope that the game gets rained out.
Even the Hall of Fame isn't impervious to the precipitation, as was the case for the opening day of the 2010 induction weekend. How many people can you fit under that?
I don't know. If you take us times 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about 36.
Waiting out a rain delay isn't fun. Just ask these old school ball players.
For guys that played every day, it was probably lay down and get some more sleep. But for some guys, they played cards. A lot of guys did their mail.
I think if I'd started a ball game and the game was in hand, I'm hoping to go back out there. Now, a rain delay, starting pitcher doesn't get a chance to finish his game, but in my era, we went out there and finished it because we wanted to get a win.
While rain is in the forecast the rest of this weekend, it's supposed to clear up by Sunday afternoon, just in time for the start of the induction ceremony. In Cooperstown, Mike Levin, News Channel 2 Sports. Good evening, everyone. Memorial Day weekend is always big for the Baseball Hall of Fame because it signals the beginning of their summer season. Today, they opened a new exhibit called One for the Books, which examines records and the stories behind those numbers. And who better to kick things off than 2007 Hall of Fame inductee Cal Ripken Jr. The Baltimore Oriole legend broke Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played streak back in 1995. Cal was joined by fellow Hall of Famers Joe Morgan and Phil Niekro in opening this amazing new attraction.
It immediately brings back great memories of baseball, great memories of that night. The personal memory of going around in that lap after the game became official is one of those that still gives me goosebumps. So it's wonderful to be here and see the exhibit.
When I looked last night, I looked around and I started watching some of these stats, and I was amazed at numbers that I had never thought of. You know, I grew up with 7, 14, 61 and 56, and all those kind of things. And those numbers have all changed now.
This is an exhibit at the Hall of Fame that when you come here, you've got to see it. Or come to Cooperstown to see this exhibit, along with everything else is here. I never knew a lot of this stuff existed.
We'll have much more from the Hall of Fame coming up later tonight, as well as tomorrow we'll have Ripken's view of the AL East. We'll also hear from Central New York native Thomas Tull, the founder of Legendary Pictures, who sponsored the exhibit. Well, in case you missed it, the Yankees opened their 3-game series in Seattle late last night, and it wasn't good for the Bronx Bombers. They fell 4-3. M's using some great D like this Franklin Gutierrez catch on what would have been a Nick Swisher homer, as well as some key hitting in the middle innings with 2 runs in both the 5th and 6th. Yanks will try to get even tonight. First pitch scheduled for after 10. High school playoffs continuing today with a few teams having to play on back-to-back days because of the rain this week. Case in point, Oriskany and West Canada, the baseball teams, both had 11-8 victories Friday to advance to the Class C2 semis today. Redskins on top 4-2 in the 4th when we got there. West Canada, though, exploding in the top of the inning. Tyler Porter hits an RBI double that gets the Indians back within 1. Later, Josh Sternberg smacks a 2-run double that scores Porter and Frank Dufford to put West Canada in front 5-4. Next batter is Nate George, and he knocks 2 more home. West Canada getting 5 runs in the inning to go up 7-4. Porter, he was on the mound, had some trouble early, but settles down, strikes out the side in the bottom of the 4th. Travis Tyler, the last one, to end the inning. Top 6 more offense from the Indians. Cody Cross hit an RBI single to bring home Ryan Moody. 4 more West Canada runs in the inning. They win it 11-4. They'll meet the winner of Bishop Grimes and Cooperstown in the final Monday at DeLutis Field in Rome. Softball semifinals across the street as Oriskany hosted Cooperstown. The visiting Redskins up 2-0 when we got there. Anna Sam's on the mound for the Coop, and she freezes Carissa Goodspeed to end the 2nd inning. Megan Carlo pitching for the home Redskins did pretty well herself, sending Sam's to bed with no dessert. Oriskany finally getting the bats going in the 4th. Cassandra Galanese hits a dribbler through the left side, which brings Shannon Van Schufflin to the plate. 2 batters later, it's Carlo, and she gets on with the infield single, and Galanese coming around to score. It's all tied up, but Cooperstown would get 1 more to win it 3-2. They'll meet Sandy Creek in the section final next Saturday. Other scores today, Class 1 2-seed Oneida upset by ESM 2-0. Class D number 2 Hamilton advances to the semis with a 5-0 win over Belleville Henderson. In Class B, top-seeded Adirondack knocks off Holland Patton 3-2. Will face West Hill in the semis. Back to baseball, Whitesboro is back in the section final after dispatching Homer. They await the winner of Bishop Ludden and VVS. Westmo falls to C1 top seed Pulaski. Secoit topping Tully 11-3 to set up a final between the Indians and Pulaski. Don't forget, Matt the Hammer Hamill fighting Quentin Rampage Jackson. That's tonight, UFC 130, live on pay-per-view. On Memorial Day weekend, race fans had 2 great choices with NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte, the nightcap, and the Indy 500 in the afternoon. An interesting finish for the greatest spectacle in racing. More on that in a moment. Scott Dixon grabs the lead from Alex Tagliani at the start. Danica Patrick made an unscheduled stop during the 3rd caution. Danica led it with 12 laps left, but was running on empty again. 5 laps to go, and J.R. Hildebrand passes Dario Franchitti for 2nd. He would take the lead when Bertrand Baguette went to the pits. A crazy finish as Hildebrand crashes on the final turn. Dan Weldon passes and takes the checkers. Indy officials reviewed it to see if Weldon crossed before the cautions came out, but Weldon does grab his 2nd career win at the Brickyard and gets the milk. Kevin Harvick, meanwhile, won the Coca-Cola 600 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Week 1 of the French Open featured a lot of upsets. On the women's side, top seeds Caroline Wozniacki, Kim Clijsters, and Vera Zvonareva all going down. The top men faring better. Number 3, Roger Federer sweeping Stanislas Wawrinka in straight sets, 6-3, 6-2, 7-5. Federer breaks an Open-era record with his 28th straight trip to a Grand Slam quarterfinal. Number 2, Novak Djokovic, also sweeping his way to the quarters. He beat Richard Gasquet 6-4, 6-4, 6-2. Top seed Rafael Nadal will try and play his way in tomorrow. The PGA Tour just a few weeks away from the U.S. Open from the Congressional down in one of my favorite towns, Bethesda, Maryland. With the countdown on, the Tour visited the Lone Star State for the Byron Nelson on Memorial Day weekend. Ryuji Imada had the lead but would blow it. His second shot at 18 right on the beach. He would get a bogey and be eliminated. Ryan Palmer, meanwhile, hits a fantastic approach at 18. Gets it within 4 feet of the cup. And he's going to force a playoff with Keegan Bradley. But Bradley, ice in his veins, taps in the winning putt to get the excellent victory. Lacrosse season is over, but the ladies from Hamilton received a nice piece of news with 2 of their key players named All-Americans. Senior midfielder Sarah Bray was also on the team last year, and junior defender Meg Pengyu. Bray also took Liberty League Offensive Player of the Year honors, while Pengyu was named the conference's Defensive Player of the Year. Congrats to Linda Harjung. The head coach of the RFA field hockey team will be inducted into the Rome Sports Hall of Fame July 31st at the Beaches. Don't touch that dial because News Channel 2 Weekend will be right back.